So family, happy Tuesday to you. Hope you are doing well. Hope you rested well on last night, taking care of yourself. So family, you're going to need to learn how to adapt and to adjust. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Okay. Learn how to adapt and to adjust. There is a strong misconception that when you're on a spiritual awakening journey, an ascension journey, you're tuning in to Holy Spirit and your spiritual path, that everything just falls into place and everything just goes well. Well, that is not the truth. The truth really is things kind of keep going the way that they were going before. It's just that you have insight on the events and the situations, okay, that come up in your life. You have spiritual insight. So you are able then, okay, to be a co-creator with Holy Spirit, all right, to be an agent of change for the things that are going on in your life. But you must learn how to adapt and to adjust. I remember back in the year 2000, in 1 month, I lost all of my income. I was laid off of my job. I was a single parent. Didn't know how I was going to make it. I had 2 small children. In 1 month, all of my income gone. Okay. January 2000. Now, it's obvious that it's pivotal for me because I remember the date, just like it was yesterday. I remember the feeling I felt being called into that room with my other coworkers who were laid off as well. Okay, I remember being promised. This is the situation that happened. The practice that I worked at, okay, the doctor's office that I worked at, they went private. And when they went private, they were unable to negotiate contract with one of the largest healthcare insurance payers. And because of that, all right, there had to be cutbacks, there had to be layoffs, all right. When we initially went private, we had a big old meeting and they promised us that no one would get laid off, and they promised us that they would be able to negotiate these contracts because they didn't want us to leave in the midst of them going to private practice to go back to the hospital system. We pulled out of a very large hospital system, all right? So there was security there. And they did not want us to think that there was more security in the larger hospital system. And so all of us stayed. They paid us more, and they promised us no one would get laid off. We're going to get these contracts. They got every contract except the largest payer. And we were laid off. It was about 8 of us. And at that time, I had never gone through a layoff before in my life. I'd always worked in healthcare, all right? I worked in healthcare over 25 years before moving into the transportation industry, okay? So it was something that I had always done. And I had to learn to adapt and adjust. Did I cry? Absolutely. After I got out of that meeting, I ran to my phone in my office where I triage patients, and I called my mother in tears. And she said to me, she said, babe, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You're going to be provided for. The boys are going to be okay. You're going to make it. And I made it. I made it because I decided that I couldn't keep crying about it. I had to adapt and I had to adjust. I had to strategize. My union with Holy Spirit at the time was pretty much all I had, okay? And it wasn't as strong as it is now, but it was strong enough for me to be dependent, okay, on the fact that if I don't lean on my union with Holy Spirit, all right, I'm not going to be able to make it. I won't have the strategies. I won't have the spiritual insight. I adjusted and I adapted. In that year, my boys and I, we wanted for nothing. I actually had money coming to me that I didn't even realize was mine randomly. It's like we had more when I was without a job than when I was working. But I adapted and I adjusted. So family, you cannot keep sulking over losses. You cannot keep sitting in your grief. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You cannot keep nursing depression and anxiety that comes along with losses of life, changes of life, broken relationships, job loss, death, okay? Any sort of loss will send you in a spiral, and you will keep looping around it, not making any progress. We have to learn how to adapt and to adjust. The first thing you need to do is get grounded in who you are. You are not a person of poverty. Remember now, you're a divine being, an abundant divine being wrapped in a flesh suit. Get to the core of who you are. You are not a person of mental instability, okay? Governed by mental instability. You have clarity of mind. Get to the core of who you are and stay there. When you begin to get to the core of who you are, all right? You are not depression. I battled depression over 10 years, all right? Before I really understood how to experience healing, and I never battled it again after that. I got to the core of who I was, and I grounded there. So no matter what happened in my life, no matter what the losses that came about, it never threw me back into that low place. Learn how to adjust and to adapt and keep moving forward. I'll see you on the next download. Toodles.